Hey, my summer reading group read Sleeping Giants by Sylvain Neuvel. If you like science fiction, you'll like this book. I would give it 3 out of 4 stars probably. It will also leave you wanting the sequel, which is supposedly coming out in April of 2017. I had my students give their opinion of the book, and that's what follows next.
It's actually a really cool book. It took me a few pages or a few chapters to get into, but after a while I enjoyed the kind of complexity of how everything works.
I'm not usually a fan of sci-fi, but I decided to try it out. I liked the plot. It was really nice. It was very realistic. It used elements, aliens, you know, always the best. But I didn't like the format very much, and I didn't like romantic subplot and such. It was just a little much.
Some parts of it kind of upset me, not like because I didn't like it, it's just that the stuff that happened in the book just caused me not to like a certain character, but they grew on me later.
It's not in any perspective specifically. It's not first, third, second, it's none of that. It's between two people the whole book. Sometimes there are like 2-page chapters where it's just like a document log, but it's between an interviewer and some other person who has to do something with the story. That was a really interesting part of the book, but the storyline was also really good.
What I really liked about it was the format that it had, because it was kind of a quick read, but it was really interesting because you don't see it very much except for like in kind of plays and stuff like that. And I actually would think this would make a great movie.
But I would also really recommend this to anybody, especially those who are interested in like news and military type of stuff, because while it is fiction, it's realistic, and anyone who's interested in those type of things would really enjoy this. The things I didn't like about the book, though, were that some of the parts were kind of long and drawn out and unnecessary.
Why would you recommend Sleeping with Giants?
I would recommend it because it was an easy read, and it would be interesting for people that like science fiction.
Why wouldn't you recommend it?
Because the format got confusing at some points, knowing who was speaking.
But anyway, I really enjoyed this book. What I really liked most about it was the format that it was written in. I really liked the way that throughout the whole book, it was more like an interview than it was a novel. And it really brought out more detail to what people really thought throughout the whole situation of the book.
Okay, Zach, tell us why somebody should read Sleeping Giants.
I would recommend this book because if you read this book, it helps your vocabulary to grow. And
wow, that's a pretty weak endorsement. All right, why should somebody not read the book?
Because it's boring. Because it's like an interview, you know, like people are just going back and forth. So
hey, I like the interview format. Quit dissing that.
I didn't though, so I'm sorry.
All right, thanks, Zach.
All right.
So Sleeping Giants, I liked the book. It was good. It's just, it wasn't really, I guess, in chronological order. Like everything was in interviews. Like nothing was real time. Like it was after the fact. So it was a little odd, but it was still a good book, I guess. I'd recommend it to anyone who's bored who can read.
Okay. Hi, I'm Abby, and I read The Sleeping Giants for my summer reading project. I liked the book. The general storyline was really good and interesting. It had a lot of detail. I didn't like how it jumped around and the writing of the book, but otherwise it was pretty good.
Okay, so I read Sleeping Giants. I didn't really care for the format of the book. It was an interview style with like newspaper edits in it. And I also liked the book because it was very action-packed during times, but it also got slow during times.
I'm Tim Carroll. I read Sleeping Giants. I really enjoyed this book for the main character, Rose. I think she's pretty interesting. She's very authoritative, which overall made her a pretty good character. But as a whole, I don't think I enjoyed this book because the style with the interviews, with the bold text overall, so I would recommend not to read this book. Thank you.
Why would you recommend Sleeping Giants?
Because it was a really good concept and it was a very fast read.
Why would you not recommend it?
Because it got confusing with who was talking and then what was happening with the journal entries.
I really enjoyed the book due
due to the aspect of it being like science fiction, and it had like a lot of like
they made teachers
cool moments to it with like all the alien races kind of similar to the humans. So like you get to meet another race that's very similar to the human race, and then it had like super like giant robots that these aliens had created and were running from the inside. What I didn't like about it was there were some terms I did not understand. Most of them I did, just from like past experience, but there's some like bigger terms in there that you might not understand.
Nathan, what did you enjoy about this read?
I enjoyed the plot. It's relatively okay.
I really enjoyed the cliffhangers.
Yeah. Jorge, what did you dislike?
I disliked that it was in interview form because it was very long at times and boring.
Yeah, I totally agree. Bye-bye.
Yeah, I think someone should read this book because it has a good plot and it's really deep.